So I want to ask first, this is an actual question response. Who's the most blessed person you know, and what makes them blessed? If you want to name it. Thora from Reformation. She's got a faith that sustains through even the hardest times. Cool. Who else? Who's the most blessed person you know, and what makes them blessed?
They show unconditional love.
The person you know that's blessed shows unconditional love. It was 2006, maybe 2007. I was at a fraternity dance. The only people at this party are my fraternity brothers and the women they invited as their dates. Yet there's one woman sitting at a table by herself. For a moment or two, that wouldn't have really been a big deal, but I kept looking over and she just kept sitting there by herself. The person I had invited was good friends with many of my close friends, and I needed a break from the dancing, so I went down and sat by this other woman and started talking to her. I forget exactly what her date was doing at the time. I remember exactly who it was, though. Because afterwards, he came up to me and thanked me. Whatever was keeping him from keeping her company, he felt bad that she was left alone, and he was really thankful someone noticed. I made her feel welcome at a place where she knew no one else. One of the things I've always been good at is noticing when someone isn't included. Noticing when people are outside the group. Because I've been outside the group enough on my own in my lifetime that when I'm in the group, I don't understand how you can't notice the person outside. I don't understand because my eyes are always looking, saying, who else is outside? What's happening? Jesus says, blessed are those who are poor. Not poor in spirit like Matthew, those who actually live in poverty. Blessed are those who are hungry, those who are grieving, those who are hated by others. And if you hear Jesus saying this and you don't scratch your head, then you probably weren't listening the first time. Blessed are those who are poor and crying and hated. No matter who you are, whether you're one of the people who fit those categories or one of the people who do not fit those categories, either way, you got to be scratching your head, right? Blessed? How? How is this set of people blessed? And then Jesus continues, woe to you who are rich. You have already received all that you think you need. Or maybe what Jesus really said was, woe to you are rich because you are happy with the way things are right now. And it got me thinking about that rich man with Lazarus. Here's this guy who has everything, feasts sumptuously every day, eating pizza for one meal, fajitas for the next, eggs for breakfast, sushi for lunch, never worried about what he's going to eat for the next meal, leftovers on the plate, crumbs on the table, not even worried or considering what the waste that is. And then at night sleeps on a bed with a mattress and pillows and a comforter in a heated home. Oh, the joy of being the rich man. And at his gate is this poor guy, Lazarus. And what's crazy in the story is the rich man never even notices Lazarus. At best, the rich man treats the poor guy like someone to be bossed around. He never does anything to help Lazarus' need. He doesn't notice Lazarus' sores. He never offers Lazarus a bite to eat. And I don't think he intended to be mean to Lazarus. I don't think that was his intent. didn't pay attention. He just didn't notice. I could be wrong, because there are many different interpretations of this text, but I think that's what these blessings and woes are about. Those who are in the thick of it, they are blessed, not simply because they are going to get to the other side of Death Valley, but because their eyes have now been opened to what it's like to be in the thick of it. Those who are on the top of it all, though, they've got no idea what's going on down the valley. And it's not like they're self-sustaining up there on the mountain. Their food is grown in the valley. Their electricity is generated in the valley. Their business depends on the patronage of those who live in the valley. But they're so high up there on the mountain, they have no idea there are problems in the valley as well. If someone were to tell them that people in the valley have some need and ask them, would you let go of half your food so that other people can eat? They would feel threatened. And it's not because they don't care, but it's because they think this is the way things are for everyone. And that's when Father Abraham looks down at that rich man in hell and says, you received your rewards on earth. And all the while Lazarus was suffering at your door. Now Lazarus is receiving his rewards, and you are suffering. And the worst part of the story, like the parable of the sheep and the goats in Matthew, the rich man never gets it because he never went to the valley. Even to the very end, in the midst of his own problems, his eyes are kept from seeing that there was a problem at all in the first place. Like I said, I know what it's like to be left out. I've always had my friends, of course, but I'm so uniquely me. There are many times throughout my life that I simply don't fit, or I'm really easy to exclude. But I have to tell you, not being invited to the party or being left off the team or being forgotten when all the rest of your friends are getting together, it sucks. It is not a blessing. But having gone through all that, I do feel blessed now. I feel blessed to be able to notice who else is going through the same thing. Like I said, I don't even understand how people don't notice it, but a lot of people don't. I've noticed this throughout my life, that most people don't notice when there's someone standing 2 feet outside the group. I'm like, how do you not see this person just 2 feet outside the group? But they don't. But I've been there, and so I notice. And it's one of my great delights to find a way to include this person who's not part of the conversation, to welcome them into the circle, or just to go be part of their circle instead. I wouldn't know how to do that. I wouldn't even know to do that if I hadn't been on the outside myself. However, saying this, I want to say that I don't think you need to go through something in order to receive the blessing of having your eyes opened to what's going on. Because I don't think Jesus is describing absolutes in these woes here. It is not absolutely a woe to be rich. It's also not absolutely a blessing to be in poverty. I mean, there are people who get out of poverty and instantly close their eyes to what they know is going on. The prophets, they often say that the people would just open their eyes and look. If they would just open their eyes and see what's going on around them, then they would understand, turn, and be healed. But they choose to keep their eyes closed. And I say, Lord, open my eyes. If it means I have to go through hard times, so be it. But I'm going to join Jesus here in saying, Lord, if it's possible, let that cup pass from me. Okay? I don't want to have to go through those hard times, but please open my eyes. Let me see what's going on, that I don't miss what the rich man missed, that I don't miss that there are problems in this world that need help, and I've got the blessings that might solve some of them. Luckily today, God is already going to send us one of the answers to our prayers. At our adult forum this morning, we are going to have Lisa Jones with us. She's going to show up here in a little bit. She is the executive director and lead organizer of Micah. Micah is the Milwaukee-based justice group that we, Mount Zion, belong to. And in my couple years of being in the Milwaukee area, she and Micah have opened my eyes to so many things. The pervasive lead problem that is in the Milwaukee area. I would have had no idea living here in Tosa that we had a lead problem. That would not have been on my radar one little bit. And it's not that I don't not care about the people who don't have good drinking water and what that really does to kids, but I would not have noticed if I was just living here in Tosa on my own. But because we are part of Micah, my eyes have been opened to the fact that there is a problem just down the road from me, less than a mile away. My eyes have been opened to the school to prison pipeline through such things like the truancy law creates. And, again, I don't think, the lawmakers, they intended this truancy law to create a school to prison pipeline, but they also aren't seeing what it's doing and the unintended consequences of it. My eyes have been opened to the challenge of getting COVID vaccines to the overemployed yet underpaid, who don't have the time to go find a place a mile away even to go get vaccinated or to take that moment off to do it. If you have a chance to talk to Lisa Jones, whether at Adult Forum or you see her out in the halls here after service, take advantage of this abundant resource of God's love while you have the chance. Tell her, I want my eyes opened. Help me see what's happening in the valleys around me. Let me know how I can share God's blessings today. So what does it mean to be blessed? Or more specifically, what does Jesus think it means to be blessed? I think it means that people's eyes are open. Or another way to put it is, I think it means blessed means someone whose heart has been changed by God. Like the Lord said to Ezekiel, I will remove their heart of stone and give them hearts for love alone. Or the psalmist says, create in me a new heart, O God. Or again, later in Ezekiel, I will give them a new heart and a new spirit. It took me a lot of hardship to get a new heart for the people who are outside the group, to be able to see the ones who are left out or excluded. But I also know from my own experience in life that it doesn't always take hardship for God to give us new hearts. The rich are not doomed. They can receive new hearts as well. Their eyes can be opened. Their ears can listen. The gift of repentance that the Spirit gives can be theirs. Because we don't make a barrier that says you have to be poor first to be baptized, right? God's gifts can go to anyone. I'm not doomed just because I got money. I may be full and happy right now, but woe need not be me. My heart can be renewed. That is the promise of Christ. That's the promise of the cross. That's the promise of the resurrection. That's the promise of my baptism. That God will give me a new heart. That God will open my eyes and let me see. That I too can be counted among the blessed. Because when Jesus comes to me thirsty or hungry, like he does in the parable of the sheep and the goats, when Jesus comes to me in prison or alone, I'll hear his voice. I'll see him there because I share his heart. May you be blessed. May you be counted among the blessed. May your eyes be opened to see God's blessings all around you. Amen.